Not often.
Is it because you'll remember the jacket or because you don't get very cold?
I don't get very cold.
Right. How often do you forget like little shit like your phone and stuff at home?
I mean, I forget like school supplies and shit all the time.
Right. Um, do you have a plan for your life going forward? Like, do you have a clear vision of what you're going to do, what you want to do, or are you just sort of figuring it out as you go?
I just kind of figure it out as I go. I have like little ideations, I guess, like that just kind of relate to how I'm feeling at a certain time. And I don't know, I just kind of roll with it and figure out what I like to do as I do it. I try
What
to
academic subjects are you more interested in? Like science, math, English, uh, writing, computers, sports, what?
what kind of subjects am I interested in?
Yeah.
Uh Beer.
Like, which academic subjects do you like better and which do you like worse?
Oh,
Do you like math or language arts better?
math. I love engineering. I love computers, stuff like that.
Um, if I were to ask you, what makes one painting better than another? There's two paintings. Everybody agrees. We get a room full of art experts to one at a time go in independently and judge between the two. All the art experts agree that this painting A is better than painting B. What are some possible, without seeing the paintings at all, what are some possible explanations of why painting A is better than painting B?
Um, painting A is painting A is more vibrant. Painting A will feel like I'm there and will set a scene a lot better in my head than painting B.
What are some other possible reasons why painting A might be painting? What are some possible reasons the art experts may give why painting A is better than painting B?
What do you mean?
I mean, that's a reason why you might think painting A is better than painting B, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking you to speculate as to what the art experts might say as to why painting A is better than painting B.
Um, Probably because it makes them feel something.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. If you received an orchid plant in the mail from me yesterday, then you will receive a fireman's hat tomorrow in the mail from Susie. Also, if you received an orchid plant in the mail from me, then either I have bought a new barbecue or I have bought a new car, but not both. I have bought neither a new car nor a new barbecue. What can you conclude?
Can you say that one more time?
All right, so if I sent you an orchid plant already in the mail,
Okay.
then tomorrow you will receive a fireman's hat from Susie.
Okay.
And it's also the case that if I sent you an orchid plant in the mail tomorrow, then I either bought a new barbecue or a new car and not both. And it's also the case that I neither bought a new car nor a new barbecue. What can you conclude?
Uh,
I'll repeat it again, and I want everybody else can see what they can conclude definitively about it if they want to listen. Last time repetition. If I sent Anthony an orchid plant yesterday, then he will receive in the mail tomorrow a fireman's hat from Susie. It's also the case that if I sent Anthony an orchid plant in the mail yesterday, then either I bought a new car or a new barbecue, but not both. And it's the case that I neither bought a new car nor a new barbecue, Well, what can you conclude decisively? What can you deductively necessary? What must deductively necessarily be true? And you can also give me additional information about things that might be true but are not deductively necessarily true. There's two main answers to be given here if you wanted to give them.
You
So
waiting for him to answer?
Takes a couple days for it to go through.
that
Is it?
that situation. Then that question seems like so vague to me.
It's vague.
Not like I don't know.
Eric, did you like sent it or was it sent? Like,
If it is the case, listen. If it is the case that Anthony yesterday received an orchid plant in the mail from me,
okay.
then it is the case that tomorrow he will receive a fireman's hat in the mail from Susie. Also, if it is the case that he receives the orchid plant in the mail from me yesterday, then it is the case that I have purchased either a new car or a new barbecue and not both. And it is also the case that I have neither purchased a new car nor a new barbecue. What can we conclude decisively or deductively necessary, and what's not deductively necessary in terms of conclusions? There are two possible conclusions to be discussed, really, and one of them is deductively necessary, the other is not.
I don't
Well,
get I
you,
don't
So you didn't. So you actually didn't buy the car or the barbecue.
Right. Those are facts and evidence. I did not buy the car. I did not buy the barbecue.
I thought you were asking like it was either you bought the car or the barbecue, or you didn't buy the car or you didn't buy the car or the barbecue, and I was confused.
it's like yes or no statements. He said if it's the case for the beginning two.
I don't get how anything correlates to each other.
It doesn't matter.
If he didn't do it, he never sent it.
It's the case that he didn't
If
buy
he-
either of those, and
didn't,
the other two were conditional.
What does that have to do with him with Susie sending a hat and sending an orchid?
Did Anthony get the orchid? Listen, these are two questions.
I
Did
did.
Anthony get the orchid?
No.
And can we conclude that he does? Can we conclude that Anthony did or did not get the orchid, or is it unconcludable? And can we conclude that Susie sent that he will receive the fireman's hat from Susie? Deductively yes, deductively no, or is it undecidable? Those are the two questions.
Okay,
It's undecidable.
Then I did not get the orchid plant because you did not buy a car or the barbecue, and
Correct.
it was just a misunderstanding of like what you were saying. I was having
Okay, go on. What about the second one? Do you have to answer the second one?
What second one?
Questions are number one, when you just answered, did you get the orchid plant? Number two, will you receive the hat?
No, I won't receive the hat.
Is that deductively necessary as well?
Is that objectively necessary?
Is that deductively necessary?
Oh, yes. Because if I get the orchid plant, then I will receive the fireman's hat from Susie.
Incorrect.
What?
Because this is the thing. Just because if you got the orchid plant, you will receive the fireman's hat does not mean that if you don't get the orchid plant, you won't. It doesn't say only if.
Oh, okay.
So that's the answer. He
Okay.
did not get the orchid plant, and we can't say decisively whether he will or will not get the fireman's hat.
Okay.
So yeah, I see that all of your answers are totally consistent with ESTP.
Are they?
Except there's a problem with that diagnosis is that I find you pleasant.
Yeah, I agree to that. You're the
Why,
most pleasant
why do you say my
person.
answers are consistent with the STP? I'm just curious.
No, I know.
Because everything you said was totally consistent with ESTP. First of all, you got the TI thing right. You're able to actually parse out conditionality, which means you have strong TI. But all of your answers about like the art stuff and everything, it was all sensor based. Like if you were to ask me the question, what are some possible reasons why one piece of art might be better than the other? I might say something like, well, a given piece of art might, for example, communicate referential meaning that is both surprising and universalizable to commonly shared memes or time objects within the scope of the artwork itself. I would say something like that, right? I wouldn't mention what the artwork looks like at all
Okay.
because I don't experience stuff through my senses first and foremost. I take stuff through my senses and then experience it through making meaning about it. Whereas you experience stuff through your senses and then experience it metaphysically by taking follow through action on shit that's already been decided. That's SE. It's your dominant function. When things have already been decided, then you take action on it. And your dominant nature is to take action on decided things, following through on existing things.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that you're not impulsive. You are impulsive because your SE it's an extroverted perceiving function as a dominant function. I'm impulsive too. But the difference between you and me can be summed up in this, that for you want to see the TI be put into practical use in some fashion in your life, and your challenge area is figuring out which decisions are better than others. So you've got fourth slot NI, which means it's very easy for you to go, I'm going to just follow through on these decisions, even though one of them is glaringly stupid, you'll just keep following through on it, because it's your nature. Just like me, I'll tend to I'll think that the meaning of things is more important than the thing itself. Like, well, it doesn't really matter if we do X so long as we agree about who's right about X. And that will get you in trouble because some things you actually need to do shit. You can't just talk about it.
Okay.
So that's the main difference between us is I'm inclined to talk more, do less. You're inclined to do more, talk less. And to the extent that I'm inclined to have a problem with the wisdom of something, it's likely to be a time thing that I'm acting because I don't do time very well because I've got NE instead of NI, and NI helps you to manage the way that what's the right course of action or right event in a system that evolves over time. But NE instead says, well, given how the system is right now, what can I do to both fuck up the given state of things and, more importantly, fuck up the rules of the system itself so that NI can't win? It's like NE and NI are kind of in combat with each other in that regard. NI wants the system to stay the same, the variables to move, so we can figure out what one move is going to execute, blah, blah, blah. And NE's like, fuck you, I'll blow up the labyrinth. We'll figure out some way for your attack strategy to be ineffective because you're not quick enough. That's NE, and NI's like you're not farsighted enough.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So you're not particularly farsighted. You're seeking farsightedness from a duel. So your duel would be INFJ. You and Ken should get married.
Yeah, I was going to say find somebody like me, but with a vagina and markedly hotter.
All right, will do, Ken.
Yeah, I don't want to bang you, dude. Don't worry.
Do you do really well with the chicks, Anthony? Because you're an ESTP or what?
I've never had a girlfriend, but I've had sex, so it's like.
Okay, well that's a non-answer.
It depends, honestly.
It depends on your definition of well, I suppose. I think I'm doing fantastic with the chicks because I'm locked down with one of them. Other people might think that's doing poorly with the chicks.
Yeah, I'm also like 5'6" and shorter than like most girls I know, and smaller, so that could be a factor. I don't know.
You should try it. You should go up to them and be like,
Can I fuck sex your vagina hole?
Yeah, you know which chicks are the coolest?
What'd you say?
You know which chicks are the coolest? Those that are iconoclastic in egalitarian ways.
Okay.
And then they ask you for an explanation, and you go, well, a lot of chicks just sort of are like sheep and go with the whole height thing. But you're obviously much too smart for that.
I love that. I will definitely use that.
Yeah. I like girls who express their egalitarianism in iconoclastic ways.
One of my friends made up a line for me. He said, Anthony seems to be fed up with all them hoes who say that he be losing when he really be cruising. I thought that was genius.
That's not genius.
It's
I
not
thought it
good.
was-
That is not any good. Mine's much better. Or you could say,
it is much better.
Well, Eric,
yes,
it can also be an instant turnoff if you use words that are big, like egalitarian and iconoclastic. Like
I
they may
agree.
not actually understand what both of those words mean.
all right, then say this.
Especially because I'm 17. So
Let's have penis hump in your vagina hole, fuck sex in your vagina hole. And then Poppy will pop out and sing the chorus.
yep.
Damn.
Or well, I gotta piss. I will be right back.
Okay. And as actually a serious pickup line for the rest of you are still here, I want to offer this one. I think it's a great one. I'm currently studying contract law. Can you help me practice consenting? That's a good one, right?
That is a good one.
Huh. This is interesting because Anthony seemed really certain that he didn't have a lot of SE. But I did actually suggest ISTP before.
I think it's more likely to be ISTP than ENTP.
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
He's pretty censor, you know.
Yeah. But I see that a lot, though. People seem to get SE mixed up with NE, like, all the time.
Spacey, I heard that last thing. I think I have a reason for why I didn't think I had much SC.
Okay.
One of my reasons is because ever since, like, for one, I was a kid, I felt like, I related a lot to what I thought my functions were based on what I've had over time. So when I was a kid, one of the things that everybody told me was that I was smarter than everybody, and I was like put in gifted classes and stuff like that, where I was surrounded by a bunch of intuitives. All my friends were intuitives. I was used to discussing intuitive shit and doing intuitive things, even though I also love to do SC things. Like, I like to do a lot of SC things, but I never, like, attributed myself to a group of SC people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that can totally happen. That's another thing that people can forget is that, you know, STPs can be smart. But like,
I'm trying to figure out.
not really much of a stereotype, especially ESTPs are usually considered to be like, you know, not intelligent at all, but they certainly can be.
Yeah, like I've met an intelligent ESFP before. Most
Yeah.
people say ESFPs aren't intelligent, but I've met intelligent ESFPs, that kind of thing. So I never really attributed myself with that. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm that smart, but I would think that I was smarter than most ESTPs, which now when I think about it, when I do think of most ESTPs and ESFPs I know, I am much smarter than them, and I do think about things on a much deeper level.
Well, you may be a lot more in touch with your NI than most are.
And maybe. Well, I was surrounded by intuitives.
Yeah, especially at a young age.
There's another point too, which is there's simply variations within type.
Yeah.
In terms of both level of development, strategy development, and just raw potentiality. Like, not all ENTPs are born with the same brain. They're just born with the same preferences for manners of attention. And so whether or not they exercise those manners of attention to maximize the like intellectualism aspect of ENTP or to maximize the creative aspect of ENTP or whatever is going to have a lot to do with how they end up displaying.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, you're right. See, I have an ENFP friend too. He's really fucking smart.
Yeah, so it's not a limitation.
Yeah. Like I've met I know one particular INTJ who isn't that smart, in my opinion. He's also an Enneagram 3. He likes to look smarter than he is. He's not. I'm smarter than him, and I know that. But I think he's the only dumb INTJ I've ever met. He's not even dumb. He does
Well,
stupid.
Justin, my boy Justin, he's an ENFP, and he was coaching policy debate for me. He's a spectacular debater, and definitely an ENFP. Now, it's for him. I guess he just learned all the TI shit as part of the game, so to speak. But when you actually talk to him about stuff, he ultimately doesn't make his decision about what he believes at all on TI stuff. It's all FI shit. So I don't know. It's weird. You get them young. You can train them to like learn TI as a game rather than as something that's a matter of attention.
Look, I see what you mean. I can see how that would work. Like intuition for me, kind of how that happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had Justin from elementary school all the way through high school. So obviously he learned, oh, when they argue like this, Justin, you respond like this. And so it's kind of like an SI thing for him. And, our SI is not good, but if you get him starting young, my SE is fucking terrible, but I can still ski just fine. I don't have good balance. I'm clumsy. But I learned how to ski when I was little. And I skied a bunch when I was a kid. And so you never lose the knowledge.
I see what you mean.
Where's the bong? I gotta find it.
I have some other shit to do. Tell Eric I said.
Yeah, you don't gotta say where you're going or staying or whatever. Just no sense, no seeds, no stress.
Just flip the fuck out when you want to go.
Oh, all right.
When you want to come. Suck my dick.
All right. See ya.
Justifying that shit. Bye. I do not want that justification for leaving to get contagious around here.
I don't know. Well, that's why I said something too.
So, any more interesting discussions about the meaning of life, about hurts, falconry?
No.
Can you teach me how to be a pickup artist, Taylor?
Huh?
Can you teach me how to be a pickup artist, Taylor?
I don't know how to do that.
I heard that you just can't text them back for 4 days and you gotta punch them in the back of the head during sex.
I mean, if you're going for the low self-esteem market, but typically if she likes not being texted back for 4 days, you can really basically do anything.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to work harder to get rid of her. I had this one chick who I was avoiding leave a note on my door, and I swear to God, this was just like the ultimate nail in the coffin ever. It said, "Call my iPhone, EYEFONE." You fucked that up 2 ways, bitch. I'm embarrassed that my penis knew something so stupid.
Oh, shit.
The thing is, you don't gotta. It's not worth it to take from those who think they're giving under different auspices, because in the end it causes you the difficulty of the social stuff, and it causes them pain and suffering, which is not a good thing to induce in others.
I'm playing.
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with Eric. Listen to Papa Taylor on this one.
Yeah, I'm playing, man. I'm just joking, man. I don't really care, man.
Kind of, you are.
No, I'm not. I don't care enough, man. I just think it's funny.
Well, that's exactly what you need.
Just the bro tips. Like,
Just don't give any shits, and you got it going.
I just like the bro tips, man. I like to. I don't know.
The thing is, at the end of the day,
It's more of an any play thing. I'm not really serious.
at the end of the day, you gotta choose your identity in regards to that shit. And if you get whatever you choose, you should craft it carefully.
Well, my real identity, my real FI on it is I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Okay, well, that's not crafting it carefully. You're either being wicked.
He's not really looking for actual advice. He just wants to play what answers we come up with.
I know, but I actually want to give opinion about this, regardless of whether he takes it as advice or not.
Oh, okay.
It's an anchor around which to build Eric's little yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, we thought you guys were on different pages.
Go ahead, hit me
right.
with the meow meow and the meow meow.
Okay, so this is not directed to Kato or anything he's doing, said, or otherwise. This is directed towards, in general, males. I have come to believe the following: that you need to make a determination about your identity regarding that. And if you want to, if you're an NTP anyway, I don't know if it applies to regular people, but censors seem to have no problem with these sort of things. But for me, I determined that meaning associated to that sort of stuff is so much more powerful than the physical experience that it's too chaotic and too risky and too time consuming to engage with on that level with multiple people, in succession. So it's necessary for me to settle into a singular relationship with somebody who's determined to engage on the same level of certainty and commitment. That's one way to take it. That's one way to go. If you're going to play the field, though, I think it's equally important to construct a careful set of criteria by which you do that kind of thing, especially if you're good at it. The better at it you are, the more responsibility it comes with, because it is true that it is very possible to maneuver people into agreeing to things they then later regret. If you know ahead of time that's likely to happen, I don't think it's morally acceptable. If you have a good idea that if that's going to happen in the long term, she's going to regret it, and you're not going to be around to care, then if you're good at it, you shouldn't do that. If you're bad at it, then I understand,
Yeah.
I think
it's a learning experience for both parties. I think if she, whatever, it's still her choice.
Don't muddy the water. Don't muddy the water. I said if you know ahead of time, and you can tell sometimes.
Yeah, it was an experience for her too.
You're putting way too much meaning. You're doing the same intuitive thing where you're putting meaning on something that doesn't necessarily need meaning. The meaning is not useful, and quite frankly, you're not qualified to determine for someone else whether or not they're going to regret it.
Okay, I understand that that's a adequate defense in just about any individual instance. That's why it's something you have to adjudicate between yourself and yourself. Am I being real or not? Am I being real with myself about knowing, is this genuinely unclear to me? Am I genuinely being presumptuous? Or is she a level of development or two below me and I really know better?
Relationships always have a high ground and a low ground that each person has.
I mean, there's just so many different layers of interaction that can be sexual. That to try to accurately interpret someone else's, your own, and the level, especially if you just met them, and the level of relative authority and understanding each one has, it's a clusterfuck that's got way too many assumed variables.
Right, which is
I don't think anyone's responsible for that sort of.
Okay, fine. I can see that point, but my position is basically this is why you need to have your understanding of your own identity as it relates to this sort of stuff defined going in. Are you looking to engage with women physically? And if so, do you have any rules for yourself?
No.
I don't think so. I think you need to know if you have rules for yourself just in general. I think rules and standards and stuff for yourself are good in general. But I think that in these sort of things, these are exactly the sort of things that are not requiring of pre-analysis because you're meeting another person, basically.
Okay, fine. But the thing is, what's not being accounted for here is there are lots of aspects of relationships that are adjudicated with TI that are determined through consensual agreement and that do require people follow through on those commitments if they're going to have a healthy relationship of any sort.
Right. So if you're talking about anything more than like the first 72 hours, you're starting to tread into abusive relationship territory, which we can all agree is bad.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. That's a good explanation. It's a good time frame limit. It explains the gray area between the two. I mean, the thing is, I tend to make way more importance out of words people say than anything else.
I've noticed, but if you're trying to do something maybe not altruistic, ethical, then that assumes that you're taking the other person's well-being into account, and you have to recognize that the platinum rule doesn't apply to your method in this case.
Yeah, okay, fine, because you don't know how they really want to be treated. Fine, I accept that. You win. You win that point.
Wow, I expected more kicking and struggling.
Bear.
There was a level of butt hurt when I left the room that I assumed would have some remnants still floating around, but
Oh no, dude.
Well, for me, I got about no any better today. I'm in a super good mood.
I'm in a pretty good mood too. It's a nice day here. Although, guess who served today by her mom
Yes,
again?
he's back. Back again.
Who got observed today?
Katie got served again by her mom.
Oh,
What for this time?
Enforced visitation of grandparents' rights.
Didn't she already lose that?
No, she lost custody. She was trying to take custody, and then Katie won, and now she's being accused of prohibiting any interaction between the two of them, even though what was prohibited was sleepovers.
I see. Turn that shit to remove even visitation rights.
Yeah, I've got a few angles to go at. I'm not sure whether. Yeah, I've got too many angles to work with here. I've got to see how they kind of. I got to sleep on it tonight or something. Kind of let it sit.
I mean, use the word frivolous. Use the word frivolous for sure.
For sure.
And
Narcissism.
yeah,
Frivolous,
and discuss how
narcissistic.
her ongoing abuse of the legal system for her own unwarranted transgressions upon the rights of parents is proof in and of itself upon her lack of merit, upon the lack of merit in her case.
I mean, she's filed 4 DCF reports, 1 lawsuit against me, and now on her second one against Katie. This bitch has a body of work that I got to think if I hand it to my lawyer, he could go poof. But the problem is that my lawyer won't represent Katie because he's my lawyer. So if Katie and I ever get into it,
then I mean, is it with the same judge?
yes. Yep. I don't remember what I was doing here. Anyways, my point was I'm still in a good mood regardless.
Me too. You want to see something really cool I bought today? I'll show you. Hold on, let me go get it. I gotta go get it.
Is it a spinner?
No, Although it does spin, kind of.
Yeah, Nicky.
Right field. Left value.
Yeah, Nicky. Let's get with y'all boys, baby.
Dakota, the way to be a proper fuckboy
Yeah, I want to know.
is to only text one sentence answers.
Only one word. What?
One sentence answers.
That's the front of it.
Is that
Okay.
a naked bitch?
Yeah, it says on top it says Women's Liberation, 1973. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, and on the back, it says an ounce of silver.
That's awesome.
An ounce of silver it says Women's Liberation as a naked lady in 1973.
How much did that cost you?
$30.
Ah, that's such a good find.
I thought so too. I was like, I have to get that.
That was the only one, wasn't it?
There is another one, but it was $50. This one was cheaper. I guess it must be like less mint or something. I don't know.
Well, if you go back to that fucking place, look at it, figure out why that one's worth $20 more, and probably buy it for me. And I'll PayPal you some money.
Okay. I think I'll go get it for you.
Also, well, on the way to get it for me though, will you drop by the post office and drop off those things?
Yeah, I haven't forgotten. Believe it or not, I have not forgotten, and I have been. The problem is The problem is this, Taylor. The store that sells that here, it's much more expensive. And
How
I've been
much?
here in Laverne. I gotta go back to Temple City.
How much more expensive are we talking?
Well, they don't even have the thing that I actually want. They have alternatives that are like the same price but are not as good.
Okay, well, at this point, just anything would be nice. Now,
Okay, gotcha. In fact, I have one thing. I have part of it already ready to go because some of it they sell at these other store that I already got. So I got like 4 of those, and they're already wrapped up in a thing, ready to go. I have put work into this. It just continues to defy me by being geographically inconvenient.
you've done too much metaphysical work and not enough real world work. This
That's
is
true.
what I got, and it is a blast shield that is also threaded. When you take this part off, it's threaded to fit a solvent trap, which is the same size as most of your Fram oil filters.
Happy coincidence.
Well, I know, nifty.
Yeah. So I did not enter the world today intending to spend any money on a silver anything, but there's this super cool coin store down there that I just am like, that thing?
I buy silver stuff all the time.
I think to myself, hey, Eric, you could afford to buy that. That's $30. You can afford to buy that. You should buy that.
Just the fact that something's silver kind of automatically puts it into like mentally you're thinking it just feels more expensive than it is sometimes.
Right. Well, at least you know. Like, I was thinking to myself, well, if I ever get tired of it, I can melt it down and make something else out of it.
First of all, no, you can't. Second of all, because I don't trust your smelting skills.
You don't trust my smelting skills, Taylor. Just because I've never smelted anything before and have none of the proper equipment doesn't mean I'm not well equipped to smelt.
Except for that thing you said.
See, well equipped is a metaphysical status, whereas having the proper equipment is a physical thing, and that's not the important part of smelting.
It's not. It's the fire. I bet map gas is good for smelting.
That's what I was thinking. I already have the Fire Map Gas Flames Regaler's Truth.
But do you have your short barrel rifle equipped with a flashlight for those late night searches?
For those pesky people who hide in the dark.
For the raccoons, I've got this fucking raccoon that likes to wander around in the wee hours of the morning, and it's not scared of me. And if I strobe a flashlight at it, it is like interested at it, and it starts like walking towards it, which is kind of freaky if you're outside and you're in flip flops and there's a raccoon coming at you and you're strobing at it. And all you got in your other hand is a Glock. And like, you don't want to shoot the gun off in town.
I want to get a gun that shoots a net.
Maybe I could make one of those.
That'd be cool.
Better question, Taylor. Why don't you own a battle axe?
Because they're cumbersome. I've got aluminum T-ball bats instead.
Okay. But would you make any concession for an axe at all? If not a battle axe, and like a hatchet?
So a battle axe, I mean, yes. I think I do have a hatchet somewhere, and I've got a machete.
Yeah, just go Danny Trejo on that thing.
Here's the problem with the battle axe, Ken. You just don't have very many opportunities anymore where you need to attack other people over the heads of people fighting with swords in front of you.
But raccoons are fearsome enemies, and surely killing one of those will earn you a place in Valhalla.
But in order to properly use the battle axe, you'd have to have a line of sword fighting men in front of you, attacking the raccoon first.
You do. You got to have the shield wall, and then you got to hack over the shield wall. So the
Right.
problem with when you're battle axe fighting without a shield wall is if you hack over, you got nothing to hack over. You're just swinging, and if you miss
You
it,
got
then
to
you're
time it perfectly, right? You got to time it too perfectly. The guy's running at you. You have your swing way back here. And you're like, okay, let's see, right now.
Okay, so new idea. Make
Oh no!
friends.
Oh no! No! I missed him. And now he stabbed you through the chest.
New idea. Make friends with the raccoon. Have him bring in other raccoons. Teach them to hold shields. And then if you ever need to attack somebody, just have a shield wall of raccoons swing over top of it.
better idea. Threaded barrel muzzle device that for solvent traps that turns a pistol round into a fram round.
How about
See,
a
the-
water-soluble bag full of raccoons that you can catapult onto people? With water, you catapult right after it.
How do we-
Because
Raccoons. Let's figure out how to catch that raccoon for real.
because I don't really understand technical stuff, the way my brain figured what Taylor was saying together is that it's like police come to his house. It's like, yeah, people were talking about shots being fired. He's like, well, how do you know it was me? It's like, because somebody saw someone in the night and you're the only person we know who shoots with an oil filter.
No, I don't do that because that would be illegal.
Yeah,
I use
Ken.
the solvent traps.
Well, anyway, I think it would be cool to be able to shoot a net onto the raccoon and catch it that way.
I wonder how you make it so that it closes properly. I mean, you'd have to have it go out with like distributed weights around it, and then a single weight, a heavier weight in the center, so that it pulls the center forward and it hits them, and then the others kind of wrap around.
Think about this, right? Okay, so here's the barrel of the gun. You have these weights around here, right? And this one, the one gets pushed back down into the barrel is the heaviest one. It shoots out, so it goes out ball forward first, but then the other balls combined are heavier than the heaviest one, so they fly past it, and therefore it goes like this. It starts like this and then goes.
I mean, I think that as long as they fly at approximately the same speed, and really what you're trying to do is you just want one in front of the other. I don't think it matters if the middle ball is in front or behind. Either way, it's going to hit them. You just need the pattern to stay. You don't want these balls to start crossing, and then all of a sudden you hit them with a clothesline, and their head slapped off.
Well, maybe then you should shoot the net up and have just one ball and have it trail out from behind like this. So your job is to shoot it slightly over the thing.
Then it just comes down in a cone, and it doesn't catch anything. It needs to have some sort of a scoop effect. And so I got to think that the only way to get that is you hit them with one in the center, and then the other ones aren't hit, but they still have the momentum, and they go around, and they kind of wrap.
But think about this possibly. Some parts of the net have instead of just having a hole here where the net, the middle part of the strings are, it has cheesecloth. So it provides a little bit of lift as it goes through the air. So when the ball falls forward here, it doesn't pull it all straight behind it. It goes like a parachute and lands on it like that.
So it's got to be slow and stupid. And plus, how are you going to aim something to fall?
You shoot over the thing, you have to practice.
I don't think that we have that level of precision with parachute guns yet.
See, Taylor, I think you're missing an opportunity here because you're talking about not being allowed. Like, you don't want to fire off the gun, in city limits or whatever. Are people going to be out at night and be watching you take out this raccoon?
I mean, no, and no one ever wakes up from one gunshot. But the thing is, if someone is, it's kind of hard to explain why you're standing in the middle of your driveway at 3 a.m. shooting a raccoon with a Glock.
So here's the thing. If it is the noise that we're concerned about, wouldn't it be more fun to try to figure out a way that you can make a silencer?
I already know how to do that.
Okay.
Listen, the answer should always be, it's rabid. It was coming at me. It was going to get me.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting. I told her to stop resisting.
You say it was rabid.
Okay.
I could see the foaminess around its mouth, and it looked rabid, and it was like, it made some weird sounds.
Do you own a taser?
No, I would have shot it. I was ready to shoot it if it came much closer. But we're still talking about like the headache of shooting off a gun in town.
All right, so why don't you make one of those kind of traps with a big box on a string?
With a carrot under it and the stick? That's for rabbits.
They raccoons love peanut butter cookies, like Nutter Butters.
Do they?
Yeah, my guitar teacher actually made friends with like 6 of them.
What? He made friends with them? You got to get away from that guy.
Yeah, I already did. But
anyone whose friends are raccoons is weird. What a normie thing to say.
I think it was an ENFP.
Sounds like that would be accurate. See, I don't want to buy one of these metal cage traps, though. Then I have a live raccoon. I don't know what the fuck to do with that. This is sort of a fun problem, then.
Yep. It sounds like you're being particular. You don't want to fire off a gun, but we're not against projectiles.
We're against attention.
How's damn it. You had to say that now, because in my head I was thinking, how's your javelin arm?
I need a javelin.
Well, did he leave to find the javelin?
No, I am having problems. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah. This is just a prototype.
It's because my computer died. I had to plug it in. Now I'm trying to log back in, and it's giving me problems.
I need to get all caveman-y. Spear hunting raccoons. It's going to happen. This is what the last thing you'll see when you get kidnapped is.
I came up with a rule that all presidents should weigh above 300 pounds. They will not be kidnapped. Or it'll be really fucking hard to kidnap a 300-pound president.
Just to be clear, is that like an example of SE filtered idea?
I don't know. Oh, you weren't asking me, were you?
I was just sort of general question towards the room.
Oh.
What are you asking about?
I said that, as a rule, all presidents should weigh above 300
I
pounds.
heard you.
Oh, okay.
I get what I don't get is Ken.
You don't... What?
Ken is the one not making sense to me.
Oh.
Ken, you don't make sense.
Okay.
Your question is bad, and you should feel bad.
Well, now I don't.
Yeah, I didn't want to shoot up a gun in my driveway, but this is totally fine.
How's that gonna fly though? That looks a little offset in terms of balance.
I mean, it's a prototype, Ken.
Right.
Doing proof of concept here. But I mean, however you fly it, that's pretty wicked looking.
Yo, Eric,
Yo,
want to debate about something?
I just started working on this little thing I wanted to talk about after I've done with it. But you
Hey,
can't take
remember how
it.
you were going to upload that video right now?
All right.
I did, didn't I?
I haven't seen it.
I'm going to argue against myself here and say that Casual's unibrow is way better than mine.
Well, did you ever argue it?
I haven't. We can.
Yeah, well, I would argue because I shaved mine, which indicates some degree of not identifying with it. Whereas for him, it's like an actual. It's a part of him. It's like part of his identity. He's turned it into a style.
This
choice.
is the raccoon killer right here. I need another knife on this side.
Just in case you can't smash him with the bat, there's bayonets.
Or maybe it needs a tactical flashlight. And people think I'm an idiot.
What is that? Did you make it?
Oh, this is to take care of the raccoon problem. Because it's subtle.
Stabby, stab, stab.
Hmm?
Stabby, stab, stab.
Well, it's stabby and bludgeony and javeliny, and most of all, it's not.
Is that a tactical baseball bat?
This is a tactical baseball bat. It's got way more badassery. It's also got a knife tied to it, and I'm thinking about attaching a tactical flashlight.
Well, yeah, that sounds good.Maybe you could add a smartphone, tape a smartphone to it, and then it's a smart tactical baseball bat.
That sounds expensive.
Just get a cheap phone then.
I've got a lot of phones. But the smart part, that implies that it would actually be capable of doing something besides taking pictures.
90% of so-called smart devices aren't capable of doing anything beyond what they originally did anyway.
This is gonna be the last thing you fuckers see. This coming down on your face, you're like, oh shit, he was right. Taylor is gonna kill me.
So you're just going to wait for the raccoon there?
Yeah, in my house. He lives outside, but just in case he gets in.
You're gonna be super glad that you
Yo,
made
Taylor.
this preparation when that raccoon rounds the corner with the switchblade.
Taylor, you look like you're ready for like a silly, unrealistic zombie movie.
Well, I'm ready for a raccoon, and that's silly enough, but very realistic. Now, if I put the map gas on it, it's like something from Aliens.
I kind of want to see you light it on fire.
The raccoon?
Yeah.
I think you should light the bat on fire. That way, it's a club bayonet torch.
You're fucking brilliant. I'm gonna have to wrap it in some sort of like sticky, flammable substance, and I'm gonna have to get metal cords to hold this on, some wire. Are we making the best fucking hitting weapon ever? I think so.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a board with a nail in it.
No, that's for wimps. Folding chair is better than that.
But Taylor, what if you make a review of that? Can you take another deduction for it?
Hold on, I couldn't hear you very often because I could hear you echoing back.
I was saying, if you make a review on that thing you made there, can you get
Who's
another
echoing?
deduction for it?
I think it might be you.
I think it's Kestrel. Kestrel's got music playing in the background.
Oh. It's me.
Oh.
Okay, so
Oh, it's Nick.
dude, once again, you were asking a question about my tactical device that I invented.
I'm gonna write it because I'm done.
This is patent pending a Taylor corporate the Taylor Corp invention. Tie a thing to another thing so that your hitting stick is not a stabbing stick. That's not been invented before. That's a fucking brilliant idea. If I spent any money on anything other than mine, although I could attach lots of things to it. Like this koozie is now a grip. It
Oh,
says
but if you should
"Why
go,
we wasted."
you should go totally overboard. It might even get views.
And you'll get the added publicity of like, oh my god, he's killing an animal. See, not the gun though, because remember we're trying to avoid that, but we need to go over the top in a way that's like in the other direction. It's like, well, it can't be a gun, but you need to rig it so that the map gas becomes an actual flamethrower. So it's basically a metal club bayonet flamethrower.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rig up a trigger down here. I'm gonna need stuff. Always wear sunglasses to operate. As a safety measure, because you look more badass. I'm gonna torque wrench over that. It might work better than that.
I gotta go. I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye bye.
Why do you have a shirt that says Weiner?
It says winner.